Hello there guys, and welcome back to this channel. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you a pretty awesome build that I have made with the new Warlock exotic boots in mind. The Secant Filaments. I'm not really sure how you say that word, but whatever. Yeah, so these boots are kind of underrated. Before Witch Queen actually came out and these were revealed, people thought that these were going to be completely busted. And just like super overpowered, but then they're actually kind of bad in the current state of Void 3.0, and you never really see many people using them. However, there are ways of making this thing pretty insane, and this build is going to be showing you one of the best ways to make it actually extremely viable in pretty much any content, especially endgame, considering that the exotic perk will give you overload on all of your weapons, and that will stack with weapons that already have a champion mod. So for example, I could actually just throw on Unstoppable Pulse Rifle, and I'd still get both Unstoppable and Overload Pulse Rifle together, which is amazing. So actually getting into the build, we're going to start off with the Voidwalker subclass, because this is kind of where the synergy with the boots comes into play. The super is irrelevant, don't worry about that. I just have Nova Warp on because I prefer it, but usually I'd use Vortex. So, I mean, you could use whatever, but yeah, that's irrelevant. Now, you will need Empower and Rift, because this only works with Empower and Rift, so do keep that in mind. You cannot use Healing Rift, otherwise you can't get Devour from the actual exotic boots. And I'm pretty sure you don't get the overload portion of the exotic perk either, unless you're in an Empower and Rift. Now the good part about Empower and Rift is that it will give you a damage buff. It's a 20% damage buff for free, and obviously with the boots, while you're standing in it, you have infinite Devour, and then you can keep Devour going as long as you're getting kills outside of the Rift as well. So that's pretty awesome. Then, because of my weapons, I actually have collective obligation here. I have built around getting debuffs. If you don't have this weapon, it doesn't matter. You don't need this for the build. It is recommended you use the stuff that I have as well, because it's very powerful. But yeah, you don't need the weapon. It's just the things I have in here benefit the weapon greatly, and I'm kind of maining this right now, so you know, it's just like a nice added bonus on top of having that. But yeah, we're starting off with Vortex nades. I know I'm not using Suppression nades, even though that would benefit the gun as well. But Vortex nades, with what I have going on here, are just insane. Incredibly broken, purely for the buff that they got, where they act like pre-nerf dustfield grenades, and they actually pull enemies into the grenade if they're just outside the radius, which is pretty insane. That's actually really insane. It makes it easily the best nade out of all of these choices, by a pretty big margin. So yeah, if you aren't using Vortex grenades already, I highly recommend you do. They're insane. Now, for the actual aspects, since we got that out of the way, we have Chaos Accelerant. Now, normally we wouldn't have this on. Typically I'd have Devour on, but our boots are giving us Devour, so now we can actually free up that aspect slot and have Chaos Accelerant. And pretty much what this does with Vortex Grenade, as you can see there, it increases the size of the actual grenade and how long it lasts. So you pretty much just have a super grenade. It is like Top Tree Voidwalker beforehand, you know, that had Chaos Accelerant. And we already know those grenades were extremely strong, and this is still just as strong. So yeah, it's great. And now we can actually use that and still have Devour, and still have Child of the Old Gods, so we have all three aspects available to us permanently, without losing anything. We lose absolutely nothing. All you have to do is put down an Empower and Rift, and boom, you have Devour, you have Chaos Accelerant built in, and then you have Child of the Old Gods built in, and this will weaken enemies. It'll give you health back, because we are using an Empower and Rift, so you get health from that as well. You'll also get class ability energy, so you can get more Rifts periodically. And because I have 100 recov and triple 100s, we can get all of our abilities back fast as well to help that out, which is awesome. Now for the fragments, I have lingering grenade effects last longer. I am pretty certain this stacks with Chaos Accelerant. Correct me if I'm wrong. If not, then throw in whatever you want. You could throw in Orbs give you Devour for an extra boost to Devour. You could actually have the bust last longer. There are a lot of choices that you can have here now with the setup we've got if this doesn't work, but I'm pretty sure it does work with Chaos Accelerant. It just makes them last even longer than usual. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure it does work, but if it doesn't, correct me in the comments below. But, yeah, otherwise, you should be using this. Then we have Grenades Weaken. Now, of course, since we're focusing our builds pretty heavily on grenades, it's a good idea to have Weaken because it's really strong. It's a 15% damage debuff. And this will also benefit Collective Obligation as well. So now Collective can have Volatile and Weaken because of what we have next, which is Echo of Instability, which is grenade kills, give us volatile rounds. You should always be using this 100% of the time, no matter what build you're running. This should always be on. It is so busted. Volatile rounds are insane, and I just highly recommend you use that, regardless of what you're running. So yeah, with all three of these combined, we have like super grenades, super grenades, because we have Chaos Accelerate and this. Then we have our grenades weaken, and then our grenades also give us volatile rounds. And because I have 100 dis, we get grenades back extremely fast. And it's really just great synergy, honestly. Everything just works. This is weakening, this is giving us health, it's giving us class ability, so we can continuously get Devour and more bonus health. Then we have super grenades, which weaken and give us volatile rounds, which then benefits Collective Obligation on top of that. So we have constant weaken and volatile rounds, and just powerful stuff. Our melee can also give us volatile rounds, which we have almost permanently because I have 100 strength as well, triple 100. And then it just gets better with the mods. So starting off, we're going to actually just throw in Reaping Wellmaker here. Now what this does is when you activate your Rift, or your class ability, your dodge, your barricade, whatever, your next final blow is guaranteed Void Elemental Well. Now this is perfect because we're using Void subclasses, we're using Void weapons, and what this does is when we pick up a Void Well, we have both Volatile Flow and Font of Might. Font of Might is a 25% damage buff to your weapons that match your subclass, so of course we are using Void, so our Void weapons will get the benefit, which is great because we're weakening with Collective Obligation, we're getting volatile rounds, and then we're also doing 25% more damage for 10 seconds as long as we pick up a well. This will also benefit from that. You can use whatever weapons you want for this build, but, you know, using Void weapons with a Void subclass is highly recommended. And then we have Volatile Flow, which, as mentioned, just gives you volatile rounds. So we have our melee giving us volatile rounds, we have our grenade giving us volatile rounds for Collective, and we also have just volatile rounds straight up for picking up the well that Reaping drops, which is insane. And we're going to be using our class ability a lot because we have 100 recurve, and it gives us Devour, so it's like really worth using just to use. Then I have Radiant Light for stats. You could change this to whatever you want. Probably a good idea to go for Tenacity or something for the DR, but yeah, I'm just using this for stats right now. And now I have Elemental Ordnance because, again, we are using a lot of grenades, and grenades making wells means we get volatile rounds for an extended period of time, and we get Font of Might for free. So yeah, that's pretty much the build. That is pretty much how you make these boots worth using. You pair a lot of stuff that can really enhance the Void 3.0 subclass, and then you just have Devour as an added bonus. You'll get grenades back incredibly quickly with Devour. Every kill will extend the Devour, so you don't have to keep using a Rift. But if you want to ensure that you always have Devour, then the Rift is there, pretty much permanently available to you to just get Devour back for free without having to do any setup. But then, yeah, of course, you get to benefit from Chaos Accelerant and Child of the Old Gods alongside having Devour. It's awesome. If you have any suggestions on how to improve the build, though, let me know. But otherwise, that's pretty much the build. It's very straightforward. All the other perks in here are irrelevant. They're completely up to you to what you want to use. It's just the main things I've mentioned that you should always have on. Aside from that, again, that is the build. If you have Collective Obligation, I highly recommend using that. It is extremely powerful with this build. But yeah, I'm just going to show a little bit of gameplay, showing off using all three aspects of Void 3.0 all at once, and just how the boots work in general, and then that's it. Thanks for watching. Adios. Alright, so I'm here at Shuruchi, and I'm just going to show you basically how this thing works. So we will pop our Empower and Rift, and you can see there I immediately get Devour, and Devour will just stay up permanently as long as I keep walking out and back in. You can see there it just got refreshed. Now, of course, I'm killing enemies, so it's refreshing from that. We're getting Weaken on our gun, so now I already have Weaken fully on the gun. It's fully charged. And, I mean, I can charge up my grenade. It lasts there for ages. It weakens enemies. I can kill them. I can get Volatile rounds from my melee, because it activates Volatile, and that activates Volatile on here. And again, I can activate Child of the Old Gods. That refreshes Devour anyway. I get damage buff for standing in the rift. Everything's weakened. I can throw more grenades. I can put down more rifts. Everything gets weakened. It's basically an infinite chain of weakening enemies and getting volatile rounds. So we'll do another run of that, but this time I'll go super aggressive on the nades and the rift rather than just shooting my gun. And you'll really see how this thing shines with these boots. You're pretty much unkillable, honestly, because you always have Devour up, and you can always panic Devour. Actually, before I show off the grenade spam and the rift spam, I'll actually just show you how quickly Devour can kick in a panic situation. Alright, so I'll just have my rift back here. Any second now. Alright, we'll take some damage and I'll show you how this thing works. You can see that? Instant health. I could just kill one enemy, get all the health back, because, you know, Devour, that's what it does. But anyway, we're just now going to go full on grenade rift spam now. And I'll show you how potent this can be with the infinite Devour on top of that. So, we got Weaken from our nade over there. We're killing enemies. We've got Volatile rounds because we kill things with the nade, right? We're weakening more enemies because Child of the Old Gods. Already have my nade back. We just spam that. Kill more things. Already have the nade back. Use that. Because it's charged up, it does a lot of damage. It lasts a really long time. Already got the nade back. We could spam that. Like, who needs Controverse Hold when you could just do this, you know? It's insane. But yeah, that's the build. You have Infinite Devour. You have Super Grenades. You have Child of the Old Gods for health and weakening on demand. We have weakening nades. We have volatile rounds on demand. We have better grenades, but you could have literally anything here, honestly, and you probably get more out of it, if I'm honest. But I think having the extended grenades, if this does work, is very beneficial. But yeah, that's it. That's the build. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoy. Hopefully you like it. Adios.